The veil is trembling, Taurus. The ocean itself has spoken your name. Have you felt the air thicken around you, the mirror blink back at you? Why do waves rise each time you doubt your worth? There is a frequency awakening beneath your ribs, a code whispered by Yemayá herself, the mother of waters. Nostradamus foresaw this vibration. When the child of earth meets the cry of the sea, destiny reshapes its map. Tonight, a portal opens where silence once lived, and what waits on the other side may make even the spirits kneel. The wind had been restless for days before it happened. No storm announced itself, no cloud darkened the sky, yet every candle in your home flickered the same moment the tide shifted. That was the first sign. Yemayá does not enter with thunder, she enters with rhythm, a heartbeat echoing through salt and memory. You, Taurus, child of soil and spine, were never meant to drown in the noise of the world. And yet lately, the currents have been louder, haven't they? The whisper behind your name when no one is in the room, the chill along your arms even under sunlight, the sudden tears that fall without reason. Those are not weakness, they are summons. 7 women saw your image, not in person, but in vision. They were gathered at the edge of ritual, their eyes turned white under moonlight, when your face emerged from the smoke of Kapal. One gasped, another fell to her knees. The eldest whispered, "The bull has awakened. Yemayá weeps for him." What makes a goddess weep for a mortal? Not pity, recognition. You have been carrying an ancient promise, one sealed long before your first breath. When you chose to return to this plane, you asked to bring balance where greed had broken harmony. And for that, the waters marked you, but the world taught you to doubt miracles, to explain away the sacred, so you built walls of logic, routines, obligations, all the while forgetting that within your chest the ocean still breathes. Now the tides reclaim you. When Yemayá cries, it is not sorrow, it is purification. Her tears are salt to dissolve what clings, to cleanse what resists. Each drop that touches your path is a blessing disguised as loss. If people have drifted from you, if doors have closed, if silence has replaced applause, it is because the sea has begun its work. Ask yourself, Taurus, what have you refused to release, even as it rots in your hands? Which names do you still call out in dreams, though their echoes bring only ache? Why do you mistrust the peace that follows endings? Yemayá's voice moves through collapse as much as creation. She is the mother who breaks the shell so the child can breathe. And she has decided you will breathe again. In the nights ahead, you may wake at strange hours, 3:33 perhaps, feeling as though someone watches. Do not fear. That presence is not darkness. It is witness. The 7 priestesses continue their vigil in spirit, forming a circle of light around you. Each time you inhale, their chant strengthens. Listen carefully, because the message hidden within their song is simple. The ocean never forgets her children. And that is why the world suddenly mirrors your emotions. The rain starts when you cry. Electronics fail when you rage. Strangers tell you they dreamed of you. These are not coincidences. They are proofs of resonance. Your frequency is merging with the mother's, and that means your destiny is about to take form beyond control, beyond logic. Do not beg for explanations. Live the mystery. The same way waves trust gravity, trust the unseen. You are being asked to return to sacred authenticity, to remember the simplicity of truth before masks and expectations. The soil beneath your feet, the pulse in your throat, the salt on your lips. They all speak one language, presence. There will be signs of acknowledgement soon. Water will spill inexplicably near you. A child may call your name and say, "She's waiting." You may find shells or feathers in impossible places. Each sign is Yemayá, confirming that the covenant stands. But every blessing demands a vow. Yours is this: stop hiding the depth of your feeling. Do not diminish your empathy to survive among the shallow. Your sensitivity is not a curse. It is the very instrument through which the divine conducts its will. The 7 priestesses saw you kneeling at the edge of a vast sea, palms open, tears indistinguishable from the tide. When you finally lifted your gaze, Yemayá smiled through her own tears and said, "The child of earth remembers. Now the ocean can rest. Taurus, that moment is arriving. The question is, will you answer when she calls? Because she will. Soon. In water, in dream, in silence." If these words touch the part of you that still listens to the sea, write this decree in the comments to anchor the energy. I rise from the waters of Yemayá, cleansed, chosen, and reborn in truth. Say it aloud as you type it. Feel the salt of her blessing move through your throat and your hands. Each syllable is a wave returning home, and if this message resonated with your soul, leave your hype on this video. Like, comment, share it, and if your heart feels the call, become a member of this channel. Every hype you share amplifies this current of light, helps this space grow, and carries this message to other souls who, like you, are hearing Yemayá's cry for the first time. When Yemayá wept, the sea itself became a mirror. And through that mirror, the 7 santeras saw what no human eye could have endured without trembling. Each fell differently, one to her knees, another forward into trance, another backward as if struck by lightning. They did not faint, they remembered. Because what they witnessed was not a face of flesh, it was a frequency, a vibration shaped like your soul. You, Taurus, they saw your essence walking out of the ocean barefoot and unafraid, carrying in your hands a luminous seed made of water and fire. From it rose 7 streams of light, spiraling into the night sky like serpents of silver. Each stream carried a message. The first priestess, Odalis, spoke, "The child has forgotten his power of patience." She saw your timeline, years of endurance, quiet sacrifice, waiting for signs that never came. You mistook delay for denial, silence for absence. But Yemayá whispered through her tears, the tide was never still, it was gathering strength. So the first vision is the return of flow. You will soon notice that what resisted for years begins to yield, not because the world changed, but because you stopped resisting your nature. The second priestess, Marisela, saw your hands covered in earth. She said, "The child of soil has been planting where there is no root." Lord, you gave energy, loyalty, compassion to people and projects that did not have the structure to hold it. Yemayá now reclaims that misplaced offering. This is why lately you have been losing interest in certain paths. It is not failure, it is extraction. The mother is pulling back what is yours to redirect it toward fertile ground. The third priestess, Lourdes, cried as she spoke, "He confuses peace with exhaustion." That line struck the others. They nodded, understanding that the calm around you had not been serenity, but depletion. Yemayá commands rest, not as laziness, but as obedience to rhythm. The ocean breathes in and out, so must you. If you ignore this law, your body will speak through fatigue, but if you honor it, your energy will multiply. The fourth vision came from Anacaona, whose eyes rolled white as moonlight. A serpent of light coils around his throat. He must speak. Taurus, you were born under a fixed sign, often silent, often steady. But now the silence has become a cage. Yemayá's water cannot flow through a closed mouth. In the coming weeks, truth will rise in your throat like a tide. Words long repressed will demand release. Do not censor them for the comfort of others. Your voice is part of the healing. When you speak, the serpent becomes a halo. The fifth priestess, Yara, described a door carved in coral and shells, half open. He stands before it, yet hesitates, believing he is unworthy. This door is opportunity, divine, unexpected, and aligned. You will soon receive an invitation that feels almost too beautiful to trust. Do not overthink it. Yemayá opens no door without preparing the path. If you doubt, remember, fear and awe wear the same mask. Choose awe. The sixth vision came from Malena, who whispered, "The sea gives, but it also takes. He must let go of what she claims." Something or someone will drift away from you, perhaps suddenly, perhaps without closure. It will sting, yet you must remember, Yemayá removes only what would anchor you to the old tide. Mourn if you must, but release without bitterness. The space left behind will soon be filled with light that breathes. The seventh priestess, Estrella, last to rise, spoke words that froze the air. The mother cried because he forgot he was sacred. In that moment, all the candles extinguished. Only the moon remained. Her tears glowed on the sand, forming a spiral that pointed toward the stars. They knew then that this was not a warning. It was an awakening. Taurus, Yemayá is not merely calling. She is remembering herself through you. Every act of compassion you've given in silence, every injustice you've endured without revenge, every time you chose tenderness when the world demanded hardness, all of that was divine training. The priests of old used to say, the gods speak in opposites. So when everything seems to fall apart, they are actually gathering pieces for alignment. When you feel unseen, they are preparing revelation. When you feel empty, they are filling you with new purpose. And this is where your path turns luminous. From now until the end of this lunar cycle, your dreams will begin to carry messages. They will not be random. Pay attention to details. Water rising without flooding. A voice calling you by a childhood nickname. 7 lights hovering over the horizon. Each of these is a key. Keep a journal nearby. Write even what feels nonsensical. Prophecy hides in fragments before it takes shape. But know this, Taurus. Yemayá's tears are drying. The mother does not cry forever. Her next act is creation. And when her laughter returns, because yes, even goddesses laugh, abundance follows. Your task is not to chase it. Your task is to allow it. Soon, you will be invited to participate in something that feels larger than yourself, a collaboration, a movement, perhaps even a spiritual project. You will feel both awe and hesitation. That is how divine timing feels. Remember the 5th vision, the coral door. Step through it, for behind it lies the reason 7 priestesses bowed at your image. Because when the bull remembers he is sacred, even the ocean bows in respect. The night the sea began to glow, every creature fell silent. No wind, no tide, only the deep pulse, like the heartbeat of an ancient mother, stirring after centuries of sleep. The surface shimmered with threads of silver, and from that stillness rose her voice. Not a sound, a vibration. It did not enter through the ears, but through the bone. It was not heard. It was remembered. Child of earth, she said, you have forgotten how to listen. The water around you rose slightly, as if responding to her sorrow. And she continued, you run to fill your days with noise, to cover the pulse of your own knowing. You ask for signs, but fear silence. Yet silence is my temple. I live where sound returns to origin. That is where your destiny sleeps. Taurus, you have lived lifetimes trusting the tangible, contracts, schedules, proof and stability. But now the sea rises to teach you another law. Security does not come from control. It comes from alignment, and alignment is born from surrender. She spoke again, her voice moving like a current through your ribs. The world you built was made of stone, but your soul was carved from water. Do you see the conflict? You are trying to anchor what was meant to flow. In that instant, Yemayá showed you visions, not as punishment, but as recognitions. You saw the moments you hardened yourself to survive, the smile you forced when your heart broke, the kindness you gave to those who only took, the nights you lay awake convincing yourself you were fine. Each memory shone like a pearl swallowed by the sea, beautiful but buried. You called it strength, she whispered. I called it forgetting. And then her tone shifted, fierce yet loving. But you will remember now. The ocean rose higher, forming a circle of light around you. Waves began to move in rhythm, each one carrying words. 7 tides shall pass, and with each a part of your false self will fall. The first tide will take fear, the hesitation that keeps you small. The second will take guilt, the illusion that you must atone for being sensitive. The third will take control, your old armor against uncertainty. The fourth will take stagnation, the comfort that masquerades as peace. The fifth will take resentment, the shadow of those who betrayed you. The sixth will take grief, the sorrow you buried instead of honoring. The seventh will take forgetfulness, the amnesia that made you doubt your divinity. After that, Yemayá promised, your essence will stand unarmored yet indestructible, the true child of earth reborn through water. As she spoke, you realized something. Her tears were no longer falling. They had become stars, shimmering on the horizon, the same 7 stars the priestesses saw spiraling in their vision. They were not distant suns. They were echoes of you. For you are not just a soul touched by Yemayá, you are a mirror of her own power, manifested in human form to remember how to channel compassion into action. Then came a silence so deep that even your thoughts bowed before it. Out of that silence she asked, will you serve the ocean or the illusion of land? It was not a riddle, it was initiation. To serve the ocean means to trust emotion, intuition, and unseen order, to move with tides instead of resisting them. To serve the illusion of land means to cling to what you can measure, control, and predict, even when it has already turned to dust. Taurus, you are being asked to step between those worlds, to bring the patience of earth into the fluidity of water, to build bridges, not walls. When you finally choose the ocean, the miracles you seek will not need to be chased. They will drift to you like gifts on the tide. And here, Yemayá began to sing. The song was not in words. It was in vibration, a melody that curled through your spine until your heartbeat matched her rhythm. Each pulse became a wave, each breath a tide. In that moment, separation ceased. You were the sea, you were the sky, you were the silence between. She then whispered a prophecy known only to those who cross the veil. Before the new moon rises, a voice from the past will reach you, not to wound, but to confirm the truth you already know. You will feel the tremor in your chest before the message arrives. Do not answer with fear, answer with stillness, for through that voice I will speak. And then she was gone, not vanished, but diffused, as if her essence had dissolved into every drop of water that would ever touch your skin again. The sea calmed. The stars reflected themselves upon it, unbroken, and in that mirrored expanse you saw yourself, unguarded, luminous, alive. The prophecy had begun. It began softly, as all sacred things do. No thunder, no announcement, only a familiar name crossing your thoughts like a wave that had waited years to reach the shore. At first, you dismissed it. Just memory, you thought. But Yemayá had warned you. Before the new moon rises, a voice from the past will reach you. And so it did. Maybe it came as a message, maybe as a dream where their eyes met yours, clear as when you first knew them. Maybe you heard their laughter in the distance, turned, and found the world suddenly still. Do not underestimate these returns, Taurus. The universe does not recycle what is complete. It only echoes what is unresolved. When this soul, this mirror, re-enters your life, do not rush to label it as love, karma, or coincidence. Instead, pause. Listen for the rhythm of the tide. If your heart races, but your body feels peace, it is the sea reminding you. If your chest tightens, but your stomach feels hollow, it is the past asking to be released. Yemayá sends people not to test your patience, but to test your recognition, to see whether you now know the difference between the echo of attachment and the song of alignment. This is the test of return. It is not an exam to pass or fail. It is a ceremony of truth. When someone reappears, you are not meant to rebuild the old bridge. You are meant to see why it collapsed in the first place. The ocean has a memory longer than any lifetime. It remembers who you were when you first met them, before disappointment shaped your voice, before forgiveness became exhaustion. And now the sea offers you a mirror. Can you see them without losing yourself? Can you bless the past without reopening its wound? This is where many falter, Taurus, because your nature is loyal to the bone. You hold on to people like sacred artifacts, believing that love should last forever simply because it once felt true. But Yemayá whispers otherwise. What is eternal is not the form, but the lesson. Sometimes the lesson wears a face you once adored. Sometimes it speaks with a tone you trusted, and sometimes it returns not to stay, but to set you free. Listen, can you feel it? That pull in the chest, that tremor before the call? That is the current shifting. The tide wants to show you who you have become. Because in the old story, you loved to prove your worth. In the new story, you love from wholeness, not hunger. In the old story, you stayed even when the waves turned cold. In the new story, you bless and release before you drown. Yemayá has been watching the edges of your heart heal, and now she will send reflection after reflection until you finally say, I am enough, without needing to be chosen. When you reach that moment, when your self-worth no longer depends on the tides of others, you will hear her laughter again, gentle, tidal, infinite. She will whisper, now you are ready to receive what cannot leave. And then the real miracle begins. Because once you no longer chase, what belongs to you can finally find you. It will come as naturally as waves meeting sand. No confusion, no hesitation. It will not demand your pain as proof of devotion. It will not punish your peace. It will simply fit. That is how the divine works, quietly, precisely, without drama. But before the fitting comes the clearing. So do not resist the people fading, the messages unanswered, the silence where noise used to be. The sea knows exactly which shells to keep and which to return to the deep. There is one more sign Yemayá will send when the test is complete. Water will move without cause. A glass will tip, rain will fall in sunlight, a wave will reach your feet, though the shore was still. That is her seal, the signature of the goddess confirming that you have chosen correctly. Do not fear that moment, embrace it. It means you pass through the portal of recognition with grace. And after it comes a new sound, faint at first, then growing. It is laughter again, not hers alone, but yours. Because when you finally understand why the ocean cried, you also understand why it sang. There comes a moment when silence no longer feels empty. It feels royal. That moment is now. The 7 priestesses stand once more, their garments soaked in moonlight, their lips whispering a language older than the continents. The air around you thickens, trembling with a vibration that hums like 1,000 heartbeats woven together. The sea has gone still, as if holding its breath for the final act. In the distance, Yemayá rises, not from beneath the water this time, but from within it, as though she were made of the same substance as the tide. Her eyes carry galaxies. Her tears have turned to pearls. She is no longer weeping. She is watching. And when she speaks, her voice is neither loud nor soft. It is absolute. Child of Earth, the sea has finished its mourning. Now it celebrates. She extends her hand toward you, and from the foam emerges a crown, not of gold or silver, but of coral, shells, and strands of luminous thread spun from her tears. She says, for every time you knelt in pain, the sea learned compassion. For every time you forgave what others feared to face, the tides learned grace. And for every time you kept faith when no proof remained, the ocean remembered why it was born. The 7 priestesses approach, circling you like the orbit of planets. One by one they touch your shoulders, your forehead, your heart. With each touch, a memory returns, not of this life, but of all the ones before, where you stood as guardian, healer, and bridge between worlds. Odalis whispers, patience reborn. Maricela says, roots restored. Lourdes breathes, peace remembered. Anacona chants, voice awakened. Yara declares, door opened. Malena murmurs, release completed. And Estrella finishes, divinity reclaimed. With the 7th blessing, the circle ignites. Light pours from the ground upward, weaving you into a column that connects heaven and sea. The sound you hear is not thunder, it is recognition. The cosmos naming you anew. Taurus, Yemayá says, you have been tested through endurance, silence, and loss, not to suffer, but to remember that strength without love is emptiness. You now carry both. She places the crown upon your head. It is cool, heavy, alive. The ocean roars in applause. Every wave rises once, then bows. From this day, she continues, you are no longer the seeker, you are the keeper. Where others see chaos, you will see rhythm. Where they see ending, you will hear beginning. You will walk among storms and remain calm, for the sea lives in your breath. The priestesses begin to sing, a melody that folds reality itself. The stars above flicker, aligning into a new constellation shaped like a bull emerging from the waves. The ancient sigil of the sacred Taurus restored. Now Yemayá speaks the final prophecy. In the coming months, the world will call for those who can calm the waters. When they do, you will answer, not with noise, but with presence. Your peace will become instruction. Your love will become medicine. Your words will carry the salt of truth, and where you speak, tides will turn. Then, softly, she adds, remember the crown is not for vanity. It is for vision. The child of earth must now guide others to remember their ocean. A wind rises, not cold, but electric. It moves through your hair, your hands, your voice. You realize this is not a dream. It is a download, a transfer of frequencies from the higher realms into the body you call home. The priestesses bow, Yemayá smiles, and before she dissolves into light, she leaves you one sentence, a vow wrapped in blessing. Whenever you touch water, you touch me. You breathe in deeply, and in that single breath the ocean moves inside your chest. The entire prophecy condenses into a still point within you. The crown becomes invisible, yet eternal. You are no longer waiting for signs. You are the sign. The earth beneath you hums in rhythm with the sea, and you finally understand. Yemayá never cried for you. She cried through you, so that the world would remember what devotion looks like when it heals. And as the tide retreats, you whisper her name, not in worship, in gratitude, because now you know the goddess was never separate. She was the ocean that lived inside your silence all along. Taurus, if your soul recognizes this crowning, declare it below. Let your words become a beacon across all tides. I am crowned by Yemayá's grace. I rise as the guardian of calm and the bridge between earth and sea. Speak it aloud. Write it with conviction. Each letter is a wave restoring harmony to your destiny. And if this revelation stirred your heart, leave your hype on this video. Like, share, comment. And if your spirit feels the pull, become a member of this channel. Every hype strengthens this current of divine light, helps this sanctuary grow, and carries Yemayá's blessing to every soul still waiting to awaken.